They'll probably do it again if they can. On the other side, Empire, they changed it up a little bit. They went AA Sand King. Do you like that? Oh, is it too aggressive, too passive, just right?
I think it can work if you can keep the speed up, but I think that's where the Beastmaster really came into play. Yeah. If you can't keep fighting, if you can't keep finding those pickoffs versus this Beast, it becomes really hard because you fall behind, and you're versus a Bloodlust and Medusa who's farming Ancients. Yeah. You only have Sven. You don't have great ways to pierce into that Ancient area. You don't have some Vision hero like the Bounty Hunter, like a Nyx Assassin, like something like that to be able to see there. So I think maybe for them, getting rid of the Ogre for Empire would be the key, and yeah, they did. I think the Ogre just allows OpTic to farm too fast on their cores and keep the map split pushed.
Yeah. That Sven had a really good start, though. The Sven was like 10k net worth when Medusa was like 5k, Tiny was 6k, but that's what a Sven does. You lose one fight, right? You get frozen in place by the Medusa, and
I think the game plan should have been if they had appropriately used some of their early advantage to be able to take some of those outer towers, start getting some aggressive wards down, and they use the Puck and the Sand King on opposite sides of the map for them to be the ones who shove in the lanes, and Sven operates in the mid around those two ancient areas, and the two supports just kind of play off of him. Then they could have actually kept the lanes pushed in. They would have had better control over the ancient stacks and prevented the Medusa from being able to make that farming comeback.
Yeah. I think the problem with Sven is that it is a fast farming hero, but it needs that fast farm. It's not like it's a premium for him to get the farm. It's actually a necessity for the Sven. And I think that Team Empire, they have to kind of veer away from all of those types of heroes because Team Empire, they are not securing their lanes well, to be honest, in the past few matches, but they win in the late game. So they have to look for heroes that can still turn the fights around, even when it's kind of a shutdown or anything in the laning stage.
Yeah, that does make sense. And we see the Coddle wasn't banned out last game, but they're going to end up banning it again this game.
So is the Brew going to get banned?
Is the Brew going to get banned? Is the Shadow Shaman going to sneak out?
Yeah, we did see they prioritized that Shadow Shaman.
I personally don't feel like Shadow Shaman is that big of a threat to warrant you being afraid of him in that first 1-3. I feel like Brewmaster, Undying.
They took out his brother in that game.
Yeah, I guess.
Undying.
I think Team Empire might go for the Beastmaster this time. This is the exact bans that they do when they do pick up the Beastmaster, because the Keeper of Death as well as Winter Wyvern deals well against the Beastmaster. So Team Empire might go for that one.
You're saying all the split pushing that Beastmaster does?
They take the Brew. It seems like both teams these teams just love Brew in general. And I mean, what if you pick Beastmaster, you're giving them their first pick hero +1 anyways. Might be a little bit scary for them.
So we're going to have to see changes coming out from OpTic because their usual openers are gone. Their Ogre's gone. Their Bane is gone. What's PPD going to play?
Yep. This is new.
Maybe the Witch Doctor this time around?
Maybe. Yeah, especially versus that Brewmaster. Would make sense.
I think it's a lot of value because you only need one support that can lay out damage. Or Shadow Shaman. I guess he's also very good.
Okay.
I like it. It's a different opening. Tusk, you don't know about Tusk? Why?
I think he's like the weakest of the most popular 4 positions. He's the most unreliable because his damage isn't the strongest. His disables are unreliable, and sometimes he has this weird saving mechanism in Snowball, but it's really hard to be able to utilize correctly. I mean, if anyone's going to be able to pull it off, though, make it look really good, it's going to be Soxa, right? That's a hero of his.
Earth Spear, which I think we saw banned in the first 2 games, will finally get scooped up here by Empire. Now you have that Roamer from Aposhka, and
it's super good versus Shadow Shaman and Tusk, right? Because the Snowball, naturally, you can follow that trajectory, be able to get some sort of AoE stun or silence. Shadow Shaman, you've got a long-range stun or silence to be able to catch him when he's trying to get that solo disable on the Brewmaster. So I anticipate them actually being able to put some pretty good pressure on the safe lane of OpTic, unless, again, they choose one of those heroes that's just hard to pressure, like Gyro.
This is Empire's bread and butter.
Yep, it is.
Lots of damage coming out from the Earth Spirit rotations with the Brewmaster as well in the laning stage. So you can even pressure the safe lane of OpTic Gaming if they want.
It does feel like with these heroes from Empire, like you said, they always want a 5-man, right? You have the teams like, but then OpTic Gaming, right? With Tusk talent, the tree, right? He can 1-shot or 2-shot waves with shards and the snowball damage, right? And he can push, and then you have the Shadow Shaman who can push. It feels like we're gonna have 2 different game plans from both teams here, just from the openers.
OpTic sticking with their split push, clear waves, while Empire's just looking to fight and battle as they tend to.
Yeah, it worked really well for them yesterday, and this they haven't really been doing it. It doesn't feel like it feels like Empire's forcing them to play differently, but this game I think they're gonna get their game plan.
Ban the AA this time around. Could be looking for something like that. Morphling
gets
banned out.
Morphling too.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we see that. The Morphling's gone. Any other Pycat heroes that stand out against the Brewmaster Spirit? Nothing too crazy.
The Luna could be one of them.
It's okay.
Everything's
it's
still
okay
pretty
for
wide open, right?
Phantalancer, right? Because you can throw illusions out at the Brewmaster. I think it's hard for Brewmaster to deal with the diffusals.
But it gets dispelled by the Storm Ruling, so...
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you kill
sure, I
the
forgot about
illusions.
that.
Nice little counter there. Medusa actually getting banned out by OpTic here.
10 seconds.
Empire, they have one more ban, and we're to start. Going to be forced to see some cores coming out from both teams.
Yeah.
What goes good with the Brew now? Like, you have that hero who blinks in, right, claps, has a lot of team fight control. Do you just want to get heavy single target damage, or do you want AoE damage with someone like a Brew?
I'd rather go for someone who can jump to the backline so that the Brewmaster creates a chaos in the front lines, and then you go for those heroes that can go to the backlines. Maybe a Lycan for Team Empire, or maybe a Storm Spirit again for themselves, because they looked pretty good with the Storm Spirit.
Yeah. It's not like you have the best, right? Once you get a Lincoln Sphere, Shadow Shaman isn't too scary against that, so
Yeah.
possibility there. OpTic now running out of time. They have about a minute using all their reserve time here.
Empire's always really liked the gyrocopter with the Brew.
Ooh, so that means,
Core clock.
or is it going to be the Zai? Zai was the last one who played offlane Tusk, right? I believe, I want to say, played it less than a month ago, maybe. That's interesting. Do you guys like Clockwork in the offlane? I know there's a lot. People say, why put him in the 3 role when the 4 role maybe does the exact same thing, just farms a little bit slower? Do you agree with that?
I think the 4 position Clockwork is preferred, yes. And I think it's better versus the Brewmaster and Earth Spirit as well. Because the Clockwork matches up really well against both those heroes in the laning phase.
Fair enough.
And it feels like, knowing that it's OpTic, I actually do think it's probably going to be a Zai Tusk now that I look at it. Just his hero and Clockwork versus Brewmaster. I mean, as a support, like as a core, you don't really want to be like, oh, I'm just going to focus one hero, but as a support, you're fine doing that.
Yeah, and they at least like the way that they talked about in the interview, especially too from OpTic yesterday, they were just like, we can just throw this one hero in the offlane and sack it. Well, if you look at Clockwork Shadow Shaman, they go top, and that Brewmaster is going to struggle to get anything in comparison to a Tusk Shadow Shaman. Clockwork just being one of the best versus Brew in that offlane.
And you see Empire, even their facial expressions, they actually, both of them, they looked a little confused as well in the Clockwork pick. There's a Shadow Demon. We haven't seen him. We've been seeing him a lot more lately, but for almost a full year, he was just gone.
You think they're going to go for the Luna?
Yeah, probably.
Could OpTic steal it from him here?
I mean,
Do you think Luna's
even
fine?
if you don't get the Luna, I think you're still happy with the Gyrocopter. I think there's plenty of combinations you can run. The Shadow Demon doesn't necessarily force you to go for one hero. I think it's still strong enough independently as a support, especially because it's a saving mechanism against Shadow Shaman, Tusk, and Clockwork. All 3 of those heroes like to be able to focus just one hero down, lock it down, and Shadow Shaman's saving grace is actually going to add a lot.
I think maybe Empire's looking for that FN Mirana. The setup with the Shadow Demon, and he has Escape versus Clockwork Tusk.
Yeah, that's actually a great point.
So Death Prophet gets grabbed up here.
This is a very all over the place lineup from OpTic to me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, because you have the Death Prophet who wants to maybe do those team fights and pushes, but it's not like you really have that much more burst damage from the other 3 heroes.
So much wave clear, though, on the side of OpTic. Empire is really lacking in wave clear.
5 seconds.
I was thinking before in the first 1-2, like maybe it could be a co-op game, but now that you said Mirana, it actually looks a lot better combined with the Shadow Demon. But in general, I think you just need to be able to have the mobile hero that pushes waves for you. And Mirana is much better at being able to deal with all 3 of these initial heroes from OpTic Gaming, and still gives you the burst damage for
Maybe
Death
Wraith
Prophet.
King. Oh, wow, they actually go for
Luna.
Luna. So it is just the Shadow Demon Luna combo.
We've seen it a bit.
Team
Still
fight.
works out. Obviously, even though you do a little bit less damage to buildings, you're still extremely strong in team fights. So maybe you guys can explain Shadow Demon more to me. Why didn't we see him for so long, and now why are we starting to see him almost once or twice a tournament? Like, what changed?
Got several buffs.
Okay.
You get that illusion from the Soul Catcher now. His talents got reworked to being actually pretty relevant rather than being not very great before.
I think that he has some sort of late game potential courtesy of his talents.
Yeah.
A while back, they ruined Soulcatcher. They just straight up ruined it as an ability. I think that was honestly the biggest problem.
Throwing a
Like,
Soul
just
Catcher on a
disappeared.
full wave.
Yeah, it's just like, okay.
3%. Yeah, that was great. Now you see that, well, you were talking about the Queen of Pain, and OpTic actually thought the same way. They will end up banning it out.
Just some elusive hero. I'm still looking at that FN Mirana, but we'll see what it ends up being. Empire with their last ban, targeting Pycat.
So on OpTic, do you want just another pusher, a farmer? You don't really have anyone who wants to. I mean, Death Prophet likes farming, but it's not like Death Prophet's gonna farm the whole map. Do you just get a split pusher for OpTic now? Something like, I mean, Morph's banned, but like a PL, is PL fine here?
Maybe a non-ultimate dependent type of carry, because it might overcommit on getting team fights around the exorcism, that they might find a problem dealing with the Luna, especially with the illusions that will run around during the late game.
OpTics ran the Wraith King before too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was against the Doom
Fine.
that they
Yeah.
left out.
I
Right?
think it had to be the Mirana for
It had
FN.
to be the Marana.
Yep. So
Yeah.
nice
I
call.
think Wraith King was classically one of the better heroes versus Luna.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for OpTic.
Versus Mirana, not too bad either, right?
I just like I'm still not sure that Wraith King's a good carry. You know, like I'm still not convinced by him. That there was that one game, but
Okay.
All right. Gyro.
So the Gyro, I mean, OpTic, interesting first 3 picks, but they end it pretty standard right there. On the other side, Empire, I mean, you call it, they have the Luna as well as the Mirana, so Wolf, we'll start with you this time. Who are you liking?
Yeah, I'm still gonna pick Team Empire.
Okay.
I think they have a vision right now. They know how to take fights. They will know how to push the range as well. So, Team Empire.
All right.
I think Empire drafted really well against the opening lineup of OpTic. I actually think that the Tusk. Oh, okay. So that was a
PBD Tusk. Yeah.
Okay, so they are going to go for the offlane Clockwork. I don't think that changes my mind. I think the Shadow Demon really was the answer to all 3 of those heroes, and I think it's in turn they have the burst damage to deal with both Death Prophet and Gyro.
All right.
I'm going OpTic this time.
All right, so 2 Empire, 1 OpTic. That is going to be great, but no, what's even greater are casters. For game number 3, it is going to be Lumi and Lyrical.
Thank you so much, Grant. He's great as well. But Luby, we're here. It's game number 3. Yeah, he's all right. It's game number 3, OpTic versus Empire. It feels to me like a little bit more traditional draft from Empire. You got Shadow Demon Luna, Mirana's in there, throwing out arrows every which way. How you feeling about the drafts?
The Ghost Stick Brewmaster, I think
yeah.
that's exactly where Empire team wants to be. Just comfort picks all around. And I think that this lineup also gives them much more options when it comes to playing. You could play from ahead, they could play from behind. Last game we saw how kind of desperately pulled apart they were. Sand King had to be the initiator and the creep clearer.
Right.
Whereas I feel like this game they have a lot more heroes that's good dealing in multiple aspects of the game.
Well, we'll see how it ends up working for them. And game number 3 now underway. It was a last-minute switch up there where Zai is actually going to be playing the Clockwork. This is a hero that we haven't seen in that role all that often nowadays.
Yep.
It's much more been the position 4.
I think the team that actually still plays the position 3 Clockwork the most is Fnatic, with Ohio playing it in the off lane. And what he does in that team is basically plays a very sacrificial 3 and put rest of the farm on the position 1 and 2. And in this case, CCNC as well as PyCat will be the benefactor of all that farm.
Yeah. We'll see if they can make it all happen for themselves. Ghost Stick will spot out the Shadow Shaman that's moving over that direction. And that should mean that he gets himself off to a decent lane. But it's a lot of the Empire heroes down here bottom. It doesn't look like they're going to run into anybody, as the rest of OpTic have evacuated the bottom lane pretty much. But big things to look out for? Any lanes in particular that really scare you for either team? Or do you think it's all pretty even?
I don't think there's actually a lot of kill potentials from most of the lanes, right? Because Mirana, for example, isn't too worried about, let's say, Soul Siphon as well as the Shard ganks from PPD. With that said, right now, Mirana has arrow at level 1. So if she fires off an arrow and doesn't get level 2 quickly, there might be a slight chance that he dies. But if Vanscore is going to hang around for a bit, he should be okay.
Well, looks like mid lane as well. All the creep cutting going on. Ghost Stick going to do the natural. He's going to pull the creep wave past here. And this is pretty much what we've been seeing every single time, where you take the creep wave in between the 2 towers. That gives you an early level 2-ish for Ghost Stick, and should have a decent time of it. It's the most frustrating thing to deal with as a safe lane hero.
Yeah, PyCat's going to have to tank the wave a lot. He could skill Flat Cannon and just clear the wave very fast, but looks like he's going to hold on to the skill point for now.
PPD not quite able to get that one. Creep wave pulled back, but he wants to draw some more aggro there. Ghostic going to be able to make sure that he gets this secondary wave coming through, although PPD putting a lot of pressure on him here.
Just punch him.
Needs to be a little bit careful about all that extra bit of damage. Now PPD's blocked in as well. Does still have the shards, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that much as the creep wave is finally going to be pulled back in. And man, this is just so hard to deal with here. The roll-in eventually comes a little bit off the mark there from Vanscore.
Man, if that roll connected, they could have actually done a lot of damage to him.
Well, nonetheless, Ghostic gets the free wave to himself. CCNC mid against FN, they're both level 2. Doesn't seem likely for much kill potential here.
Yep.
Unless there's a rotation.
I mean, CCNC could force out Leap with the Spear Siphon. Looks like he has already done so. But apart from that, I think CCNC should get a little bit farm easier in this lane because of Crypt Swarm being just the much better farming / harassing tool.
Well, other lanes, Ghostic is getting that little bit of help from Vanscore as well. They roll in, but already the bounty rune picked up, and now Shards, making sure his buddy is going to be fine. Gives him a little hug with those icy shards.
And Zexa kind of still is somewhat trapped here, but looks like Ghostic won't take the fight with the 2 creeps on his tail.
Yeah. PPD does have shards again, but I don't think he can block that one off. Yeah, he just draws aggro again, and they're back up there. Courier, not quite sniped either by Vanscore. And although there's a lot of movement around, there's not much killing going on or potential for kills even in this early stages.
Yeah. It's hard to gank into a Death Prophet as well, because she could just Soul Siphon, and she does here. A lot of damage, but it's hard to force out a kill.
Definitely. Well, Ghostic with the best taunt in the game. You gotta love it. Boots first two means that PPD is going to have trouble trying to catch up to him, in spite of that ward that's scouting out all this in the area. Another deny. But the big winner so far definitely feels like Luna, 17-7 in that top lane. As Ghostic's going to be blocked in, but he just eats a tree and, well, taunts again in his face.
Yeah, Clockwork on the top lane, really unable to get too much. He has pretty much 0 kill potential. I'm even surprised that he has the point into Battery Assault right now. I think this is one of those lanes where you might just put a point or 2 into Rockets and just concede the fact that you're not going to be as strong at level 6, but you get more farm now. Mid lane Vanscore, going to get pressed back.
You can force out the rotation from PPD there. Doesn't really amount to much, but that also signals to Ghostic that he should have an easier time of it. The pull again interrupted by Ghostic, and he's going to pull another creep wave pass, secure himself a little bit more farm in this one. Just having himself a really nice time. Clockwork, in the meantime, over there as well. Vanscore able to take away one of the bounty runs, but PPD is coming in. They are bringing in Ghostic as well. They end up catching themselves in the shard, but the roll away. Vanscore, is he going to die under tower? He is indeed. They make it work.
That's actually the first time I've seen that, the row after the row.
His buddy with him as well. And maybe there, if you have the stun still or something, you can turn it, but doesn't end up working out, and PPD knowing the limits of his hero. All right, well, it still is a free-farming Luna with a pretty much free-farming Pycat here. Silence basically been left alone this whole time, and maybe need to watch and see if there are any ancient stacking going on later on.
It seems like both teams have opted to not stack Ancients. I think the last game was a very telltale sign of teams even opting to stack the big camps, like you mentioned a couple of times for the Sven. Because I feel like the Ancients are too easily contested if you stack it too early. Right. I think teams began to stack for the Ancients maybe during the mid game. But we'll see if that's going to be a little bit different in this game round.
So we do have the Shadow Demon taking a little bit of a different skill build this time around, going for the more points into Shadow Poison.
Voshka's kind of all over the place right now, trying to drop some D wards, but...
Now this is a... Well, okay, no problem. Don't worry, nobody saw it. And it's Shadow Poison to turn it back around. CCNC moving forward there. They're not going to be able to get any type of a turnaround. And it's just going to be Mapushka again running past. Did manage to get down a decent ward. We'll see if that's spotted. As a stun comes in, the rocket, always frustrating to deal with for the Brewmaster.
Looks like OpTic is working with a 3-stack Ancients near the mid tower. It's going to be a while before they actually could have the damage take it down. Miposhka is going to get found here. Great shards. That should ensure the kill. Miposhka is going to be stuck there for good, but the Drunken Haze actually nice micro here.
Able to
Fix
bait
it out. And he's going to
Miposhka.
take a bounty rune on the way out. He's going to die, but hey, man. That was good mental damage done to Zaxa.
Absolutely. Nicely done there. And ends up at least baiting out a little bit of mana usage. And well, it's still a 2-0 start here for OpTic.
Looks like Pycat is going for a very traditional build on the Gyrocopter, the Max Rocket Barrage. That's going to reduce his farming by quite a bit to not have the Max Flat Cannons. And even with the Max Rocket Barrage, I think he's still having trouble getting kills on the Brewmaster.
Well, Eclipse up top. Zai taking a lot of damage there. And that is the strength of the Shadow Demon Luna. One of the strengths. I'm sure we'll see more of those illusions being spammed out a little bit later on. But again, it's a relatively free game for Silent here. 47 last hits, 15 denies, and soon to be the whole jungle to himself.
I know you're kind of just referring to the laning stage, but I think he's going to have a free game in the mid to late game as well. Remember game 1?
Yeah.
Where every time he showed up, he got pinged out, he got jumped on and killed. This time around, not only does OpTic not have that much burst damage, nor do they also have that kind of control, and they have a disruption to go through. CCNC finds himself Vanscore. Nice block.
Yeah, well done indeed, and they're able to catch there. That should be a kill onto the Earth Spirit, and the rotation comes in from the Luna. Does not have, or excuse me, the Mirana, but it's also a rocket on him. So FN just gonna forced to jump away again and gonna get plinked here. Top lane, Zai caught again. Miposhka, mill a catch there. They've got the Lucent Beam if they want to use it in just a second. Zai gets the hook shot, pushback as well. Every dang person, but is going to be stunned, and the poison might be enough to take it out. He's going to get healed up by the bottle, though.
Wow.
Zai.
That was a clutch play. Unfortunately for Zai, he had to use that level 6 hook shot just to save himself. I mean, you pick this hero to be active as soon as he turns 6. And not only is he struggling in the laning as expected, he's also contributing very little to his team right now.
No, the plus side is that they're able to get the tower in the bottom lane while that's happening. A nice shards catch there, but there isn't any follow-up right now from OpTic. Instead, it's going to be PPD that gets jumped upon here, and a quick
the snowball
that maybe turn it, able to stay alive for the moment, but the Lucent Beam finds the finish, and CCNC maybe they're a bit too late, but can he find the pickoff onto Vanscore to make up for it? Yes, indeed.
So one thing I want to mention in this game is that Force Staff is going to be just an amazing item overall for Team Empire against both Power Cogs and Ice Shards. And this is why you don't see teams picking up both Clockwork and Tusk together too often. Simply because they basically play the same position, and the item that counters one will counter the other. And I think OpTic's going to run into that issue this game. Obviously, Mirana can leap out, but Luna will most likely go for a Pike. And the two supports are going to buy defensive Force Staffs.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower.
All those items to help make sure that their heroes are staying alive. Miposhka went in for a wraparound. PPD is there as well. So, seems like it could be a difficult kill here if they want to try and go for it. The Lucent Beam, the right click's coming through. Snowball to try and turn it. Maybe in some dangerous position. A good kick through, and they managed to find another kill on a PPD. But a killing spree there. Ghostic goes for the Primal Split. Wanting to take him down. CCNC is in no man's land and going to get killed off by the Eclipse.
Yeah, CCNC getting way too greedy there, and looks like the Cyclone will take up the Clockwork. On the left side is going to be Saxa dropping his Mass Serpent Ward against FN. FN easily leaps out of it. In fact, we'll hang around and fight a little bit. The homing missile will fly through. Ghostic is going to drive the attention away from the Mirana. Do they have enough disables to actually control him? Yes, they do. Great shards and cogs. The No Man Land with 3 OpTic heroes surrounding him.
Yeah, nice pickoff there. So it still ends up looking okay for Empire in spite of losing Ghostic there. They took down CCNC, and that's really the big kill that they wanted to get. But 6-5 now, 1,000 gold lead for Empire. And FN actually going to Spirit Siphon the creep there for a moment.
Yeah, he knows if he Spirit Siphon FN, it jumps away.
Trying to bait up the leap.
Get a little bit of healing from the creep instead.
All right, well, now about 10 minutes into it, we could start thinking about tomes as well. Net worth, Luna still leading the way with Gyrocopter there as well. And FN, man, almost gets hit by there with a hook shot. He's gonna use that regen rune to full effect. FN's been playing so good this series.
Yeah. I mean, we know he's an excellent player. Sometimes has trouble tilting, but so far looking very crisp.
Yeah, his problems have never really been with his play. It's always been the other intangibles, but this game showing none of those problems. Vanscore here to defend. They do scan it out, realize that he is still in the area. PPD coming in. Gonna try and roll away, and Vanscore is out of there.
OpTic will take the tier 1 up top. This is where we really notice how OpTic plays their map control. They heavily put a lot of emphasis on the enemy safe lane tower. They'll take it down, and they even often go for tier 2. And this is where Pycat kind of just lives.
Oh, FN, just as we were singing his praise, is going to get picked off there, not anticipating the rotation in from the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, Saxa is very leveled, given how active he's been.
Yeah.
And Serpent Ward, the second one is good to go. We already talked about what OpTic could do when it comes to pushing, but Exorcism, Mass Serpent Ward, anytime they drop those the ults, the objective is going to get taken very easily.
PPD with the Invis rune, going to be able to spot Vanscore here. Initiating right off the start, there's the Hex, everything dropped down, and Vanscore want to be hitting the deck as well. Things looking quite good now for OpTic, but can they make any more of this? The rotation comes in, they also have the Moonlight Shadow here. Ghosted gets pushed back by the Cogs, and now they're going to be able to save their tower, but they don't find any return kills.
It sucks that not micro on the ward should just basically put them on the tower and try to do as much damage as possible. Brewmaster just picked up the Blink Dagger. I wonder if OpTic have seen that.
It's got to be careful. Silence from DP could just ruin his day if he happens to jump in at the wrong time, or the Hex. But still, Ancients getting ready to be taken there as well. OpTic have vision over this area, but it's kind of hard to contest if you don't have that ultis up.
Mid lane, OpTic's gonna drop the Exorcism. And I think that's gonna be a tower.
I mean, FN can come in to try and contest this, but I mean, the only thing he could really look to do is maybe go for a deny play, but even that's a little bit scary with CCNC having the silence there, the roll in, able to catch there onto 2, magnetize onto 3, maybe looking for more. Can they get the lift up onto CCNC here? There's the tornado. They'll be able to dispel it in just a second, have the follow-up from Silent coming in. With the rest of the heroes there, the stun, it's onto 1. Is it going to be enough? They do take him down. And able to get out of there as well.
Once again, CCNC playing really far up. Even with the Yule Scepter, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough defensive items for him to survive. Also, Zai, even though he was within the vicinity of the fight, didn't have mana for the Clockwork Hook. Yeah. So, OpTic taking a very awkward fight without numbers.
Well, and this is the sort of difficult part about this OpTic draft. Like you said, they need to be able to protect this Death Prophet, and really the only defensive hero that they've gotten that's a truly defensive hero is the Tusk. Like, sure, you can get the turnaround with the hook shot and stuff like that, but PPD is going to need one of those items to get him in close so he can snowball save the DP, and otherwise it's going to be a hard game for him.
And that's often hard to do because Brewmaster will blink in and stuns one and cyclones the other, so half your team is disabled. And if he does get off the Cyclone onto the Tusk, then there is no save at all.
Right. Speaking of blinking in and taking people down, there's going to be a Shadow Shaman in some trouble, even being body blocked by the chicken in front of him. And Silent, unstoppable here at 15 minutes. Well, mid lane, roll in, they find Maposhka. EPD, they have the silence as well, onto 2. It's going to be a dead Shadow Demon, but FN able to sneak his way out of there. See if CCNC is able to find the finish here as well. The Crypt Swarm, the Spirit Siphon, it's on to FN. A lot of damage. Is it going to be enough, though? Doesn't look like it.
Support's not nearby with detection. PPD a tad too late.
Instead, it's going to be Silent. Able to take down the Tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, and that's the first one for Empire this game, while OpTic have been able to secure all the Tier 1 towers.
Yeah, as we've seen 2 games in a row now, the one thing that I feel like OpTic just clearly does better than Team Empire is where to farm, when to farm. It feels like whenever the game slows down, they just get more from the jungle. And oftentimes, OpTic gets it from the opposing jungle.
Right.
So even though that Luna's leading right now, I don't think that will actually be the case for a long time, or for too long. Gyro picks up the Aegis after the Roshan. And this is kind of just what I mean. You know, OpTic are having a very strong grasp of when we could take a objective, when we should go farm, things of that nature.
Now, the one thing that's a little bit scary is they've used a lot of those ultimates to take down that Aegis. So the question now for Empire is, can they find anybody with these ultis down and win a fight?
It's hard for them. Let's say if they find 1 or 2 right now, like Saksa might die here.
Yeah.
Even when you get this kill, because the waves are so pushed, it's hard for them to get an objective after this. Saksa looks like he is going to go down. Good call down. It's going to hit a couple of heroes. And right now, Empire is chasing into the tier 1 building. And they're going to just keep on going here.
PPD, lots of damage onto him. Still has the snowball to keep himself alive, although is he actually going to be able to get it off? It looks like it's going to come out now. Maposhka is over there, able to banish onto 1-2. The arrow comes out, connects there, a decent play, and they might be able to kill him off here as well. That's going to be Zai dead as well. So 2 already down. The Eclipse comes out as well. They bring back down CCNC. He's gone. Pycat, the last one standing. He tries to make his way to the shrine, and it is going to be there in time, but I don't know if they have enough to keep him alive. Aegis is now gone. They do have Shadow Shaman buying back, or rather, excuse me, respawning, but he can't get there in time, and it's a full wipe. Empire win that one hard.
Wow, you were talking about punishing the lack of exorcism cooldown, and that's exactly what Empire did. They smoked up, they found the engagement, and I thought it was one of those things where, you know, that perhaps Empire was chasing a little bit too deep, but in this case, what a demonic purge by Miposhka, just pulling that DP out of the air and allowing the Lucent beams to rain in from the Luna. Great punish. They get an objective off of that. Clockwork hooks in.
It's a good hook there. Silent, needing to eat his way through the cogs. Gets what they're one and going to be pushed back. And in fact,
the creeps.
Oh, dodge, not quite enough. A solo kill on the Luna is pretty freaking good for a Clockwork.
Yeah, good recognition by Zai. There is no Eclipse or well, anything for him to worry about with this blade mail turned on. So,
yeah, really well done. Well, 10-13, but any kill that you can find on that Luna just to slow down that snowball, already at 10,000 net worth, not wanting to give her too big of a lead over the Gyro. Vanish again, arrow going to come out, connects there onto 1, and well, they take 1 back for their team, I think. No? Okay, they end up getting him.
The sentry drop allows them to pick up the kill. So I know we're only closing in to the 20-minute mark, but part of me is asking, you know, how effective has this Clockwork been? We saw him pick up a solo kill in the Luna right now, but we also know that as the game progresses on, his effectiveness is going to keep on declining.
That could be an issue, is Zai needing to keep on making moves. I mean, we sometimes do see Clockworks get in towards like an Aghanim Scepter or something like that, and then they find pickoff after pickoff. But they do have a Midas on Brew now. So he will also be able to accelerate forward as eyes are sort of on this mid-tier 1 tower, which is fairly low for OpTic. Looks like it won't be claimed right now, though. Thinking about maybe the next Roche. If you're OpTic, are you at all worried about just dropping a lot of ultimates to take that down again next time it comes up? Considering how it went afterwards?
I think you could drop the Serpent Ward, but the Exorcism you got to be much more careful about. Considering that it seems like Team Empire is really willing to fight when you don't have that one at the ready. Yeah. And really, I don't think OpTic has much damage without the Exorcism. I like the fact that CCNC is going right into a playmail and then back into the BKB. Because he recognized in a previous engagement, Yule Scepter won't really protect him from the Demonic Purge.
Yeah. Well, it's a serious issue. Vanscore is over here ready to maybe find a turnaround, but they're also trading out the tower in the bottom lane. And this one drops rather rapidly from Silent as well. Maybe he could go for like a TP cancel or something if they happen to head off that direction. Are Empire thinking about pushing this?
OpTic's also pushing in the high ground. They have Exorcism running, and of course they have Mass Serpent Ward as well. Once again, Empire seems to be really late when it comes to the defense. A tier 3 down to half HP already. Arrow's going to fly out and going to try to cancel as many TP as possible. Meanwhile, Empire on the bottom side, they're gonna get cut off of. Silent will pour it out. Miposhka has a TP, but now Vision's being granted. Zai will hook in.
Well, there's the banishment. Still in some trouble though, and well, he's going to drop his full kit onto Zai. Just give him a little bit of damage before he heads back home.
So overall, it was OpTic that just pushed a tad bit faster, and they're the one that gets about half of tier 3 damage.
Yeah. Basically nothing dealt there to the tier 3 of OpTics in exchange. But it is still Silent who's leading the net worth. You've also got Mirana that's really eclipsed up the top as well. And they're pretty far ahead of the cores of OpTic at this point. How concerning would this be for you?
If I'm an OpTic fan, this is very concerning because I feel like Death Prophet and Gyrocopter is having trouble surviving in these team fights. Especially to Mirana, who is just kind of laying out a ton of damage. Also, Eclipse is still a big factor in this point of the game, even though both of these cores are kind of working towards BKB. Those BKB durations is going to get pressured quite heavily.
Silent moves forward yet again, doesn't really want to step too far forward, although the tower is eventually going to fall here. So looks like FN going to finish that one off. And they have all the tier 1s down. So Invis on Vanscore, maybe looking for something to happen here. Clockwork is over in the woods. And they are going to as well go for the Moonlight Shadow play, trying to catch this guy out. And they might just get him, actually. Vanscore rolling forward, tries to find the stun, is going to be able to connect. They also have the silence to follow that one. Ghost Stick jumps forward. They find the catch. That's going to be a kill. Zai in trouble. He goes down.
Clockwork down for a while. I do wonder if they're going to try to push, but there is no creep wave, so... Once again, Empire gets some key kills, but really unable to get too many objective off of it.
Maybe in towards the tier 2 tower in the mid lane if they wanted to try and do that a little bit.
It seems like ever since that big team fight up top where Team Empire got like 5 kills in the tier 1 top, OpTic has really lost a lot of the momentum. Or I think more accurately, it's a Luna that really pulled ahead. And now not only can she farm very effectively with the Manta style, that also means by default, Miposhka could also farm very effectively with the disruption as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you saw there as well, using illusions in the mid lane, they can put some pressure onto the tower and not really take that much risk for doing it.
Yeah. Now, illusion damage on buildings have been nerfed repeatedly for multiple patches now, so it's not exactly the end-all be-all when it comes to high ground push. But the tier 3's HP for both teams is very important. Once you lose a tier 3, I think both teams has the capability to take down melee racks extremely fast.
All right, Silent pushes in again with illusions. There is a bit of a wraparound coming from PPD, but again, just picks up the regen rune, trying to run away. They do have eyes on him. Vanscore looking for a stun, is going to be able to not quite connect. PPD still running away, blocks off with the shards, and well, he's out of there, it looks like.
Even if he dies there, he's just creating a ton of space.
Yeah.
And also look at what Saksa's doing. His first major item is a Blink Dagger, which is quite rare for Shaman these days, but he basically will just live at this top lane and constantly split push. It doesn't matter if he dies once or twice, he's just simply applying a ton of pressure non-stop here. And eventually you're gonna have to, send a hero or two to defend.
And FN just harassed over and over again by Zai in the area. Miposhka goes to the disruption. Silent gonna go back to farming. And, well, they're still building up this lead. Empire, 5,000 and 6,000 net worth into their favor. Not really feeling pressured at all in this one.
Yeah, they're going for the long one as well. Ghost Stick has that Hanamitis, something that we saw out of Zai in the previous games.
Now another shards, another pushback. Ghost Stick farms, and OpTic watches. Vanscore, he's found PPD a little bit off the mark with that stun. Sigil is also going to be dropped. And with 4 heroes in the area, they still don't feel comfortable going for this. And again, you've got this Shadow Shaman here ready to cut the creep wave if they want to.
He's going to cut it. Ironically, he's doing it with the level 3 Aethershock.
Yeah, invested a lot more into just that single target disable, but he's going to cut that creep wave. Now can blink out if he wants to.
I mean, he's got ward vision all around him. He doesn't even need a blink. But look at how annoying this is. Roshan, though, is going to get started up here by Team Empire. The second one, this one providing the cheese, but the Rocket Flare now providing vision. And I do believe the rest of OpTic wants to fight. The Saksa in a very good position as well.
Yeah, he could go in for this one if they wanted to. The jump forward, able to get the stun there onto one. CCNC has already popped his BKB, trying to run into this one, and they pop the Bruce Split as well, but they're taking a ton of damage. Nail all the Magnetize, able to turn it back around. Look at the damage coming from Silent as well. BKB is out from Pycat. These Brewlings are actually about to die. They're going to end up losing Ghost Stick inside of his ulti form, with the wards going to be cleaned up here. It looks like OpTic win this fight quite heavily, and the Aegis is even going to go their way. Meanwhile, the catch there, Zai able to get him. Silent just needs to get the hell out of there before they take him down, and it's going to be a leap away. 1-2 for FN.
Homing missile still coming in. Rocket Flare flying through. Oh, Silent.
Oh my goodness.
Not going to get picked here. Aegis and Cheese going towards OpTic. That was expertly played by Saksa. He came in from behind, and basically that cut off the retreat path of Empire, dropped Master Reward on top of the team. Sure, he died, but he created enough chaos for the rest of OpTic to go into the pit and finish off Roshan. Great team play from OpTic. They win the big objective engagement, and they're going to get a tier 2 out of it. So, really good turnaround here from OpTic.
Absolutely. The downside, of course, is they don't have Exorcism for the after push, but they will be able to go a second round in a bit if they want to, once all their ultimates are off of cooldown. And Gyrocopter just going to be able to farm with that Aegis, while Empire going to have to maybe come up with something new. Do you think that they can try and do a similar thing that they did last time, where they take a fight before the ultimates are off of cooldown?
I think OpTic will rarely give you those fights.
Okay.
Especially through their playstyle, right? Like, they're constantly cutting off your waves, ratting you, even when the ultimates are off cooldown. And Clockwork Hook is going to come on the bottom lane here. Ghost is going to get found. They have the detection versus the Moonlight Shadow, and of course the control being provided by Shaman. But to answer your point, Lyrical, I think it's hard for them to find those fights because they're just so good at split pushing.
Yeah.
They will draw the creep wave and wait for those ultimates to come off cooldown.
Well, Vanscore has been able to pick up another item for himself. Blink Dagger there on the Earth Spirit, which helps out with the initiations further. But now, with OpTic having Aegis and Cheese under their belt, Ward's back up again. It's time to party.
Yeah, Saksa is going to hold this ward for now as well.
It's a 5,000 net worth lead for Empire, but you wouldn't know it based upon the positioning here. Although Silent is pushing in the top lane, and looks like OpTic are thinking about backing a little bit now.
With CCNC showing in base, the rest of OpTic can't really be too aggressive. They're going to just have to port back.
Aetherland's picked up there as well for the Shaman. Zai walks forward. Almost, that's a long TP for Vanscore. But he will eventually get out of there. So talk to me a little bit about these matchups as the game goes later and later. You've got Luna versus Gyrocopter. You've got Mirana versus DP. Is there any very clear outmatch, or is it all fairly even and depends more on play?
I think damage-wise, the Team Empire cores just deal more damage. They're also more mobile as well, especially with the FM Mirana. He gets to kind of poke into the back line and get a lot more done. So in terms of specifically the core matchup, I think Empire's got the stronger lineup. And of course, Brewmaster give you a lot more control as well. The problem though, and I think this is going to be how OpTic plays the mid to late game, is that they have better split push, they have better single point control coming in from the Rasta. And so I feel like Empire is the team that wants to take the full 5v5 team fights, whereas OpTic is the lineup that will draw the map and only give you the fights that they think they could win.
Well, again, these illusions are going to be sent forward, but they will be taken down in the end, and a little bit of extra gold going the way towards Pycat. That's something else to kind of keep our eyes on here, is the Gyrocopter did get to that level 20 movement speed talent. 50 extra movement speed makes this guy hard to run down.
Yeah, just super fast.
513 without phase boots active. He's zooming.
The way that Saksa has been playing this game, hold on, thought. Looks like we're going to see a smoke to join CCNC in the mid lane. He gets disrupted. He has the BKB though, and he will pop it immediately. But the BKB's baited out because everyone is just gone.
That was really well done. And I mean, BKB down, they can get ready to fight if they want to. They don't know though, Pycat has his butterfly done. Do they take this fight into a bad situation? Well, Moonlight Shadow's worn off. They have the rocket there, able to get the catch. Nice play as well. The Lincoln Sphere connects. Vanscore's in the middle of all of them. Is this actually going to end up working out? They take down Vanscore. Nothing doing. FN in trouble. He goes down.
Oh no, FN leaped up and then down. Like, I think he wanted to go over the ledge, but during those team fights, something sometimes is very hard to control. As a result, they lose 2 cores after baiting out that BKB, like you mentioned. And now they're looking for a little bit more. Sox that ports, or blinks in rather, and has the control. Shrine is going to get popped. They need the cores to be coming in. Great sharp pushback as well. Silent that pops the BKB.
Oh, he's trying so hard. He just wants the ulti. It's not happening. Ghostic, what are you doing, buddy? They finally get it off there, but it's still going to be a lot of damage. Pycat trying to chase this out, and it looks like they are going to let the Aegis expire. Soxka chasing forward, able to catch there onto Shadow Demon, got him caught and controlled yet again, gonna be killed. And again, OpTic doing it here.
Man, Soxa's just killing it this game. Between the Aether Lens as well as his level 15 talent, he's able to initiate from such a far range and is really just catching people by surprise. Of course, the vision provided by PPD through the wards have been supremely helpful as well. And all of a sudden, OpTic now seizes the opportunity to go high ground. They will go through mid. And looks like the tier 3 is going down fast. Mass Serpent Ward coming down in 40 seconds.
Well, a tough one indeed. A hard thing to hold, but they do have the Mirana coming back now. Pycat standing tall in front of all of it. Can they take this fight? The jump forward, the stun onto 3, but they're able to get the Hex, the turnaround. Zai's got him caught. The silence onto 3 as well. FN tries to jump out of it. They've already lost that Earth Spirit though, and with the Exorcism still rolling, I don't think they have the damage to take these guys out.
Oh, the melee rack's not going to get taken down as the Exorcism runs out. OpTic, large amount of damage, tier 3 out, the range rack's down, so Shrine's going to get opened up as well. And that was, I mean, thankfully for Team Empire, they didn't have mass Serpent Wards. Had they had the Serpent Wards, that would have been a clean racks.
Well, another win, and take a look at this. Luna with it queued up, the Aghanim Scepter.
Okay.
Orbital Cannon.
So I believe what you could do is you throw it on your Brewmaster. He blinks in, and you know, even I believe the Earth Brewling will carry the ultimate. Don't quote me on that one. But
Right.
pretty sure that's how it actually works.
I mean, you can also just throw it onto an area and it hits it too.
Or Mirana. Like, there's so many leeway for him to use a team fight. And you know, a lot of these heroes do have BKB though. That is the concern.
Right.
And of course, Snowball, you could just like pull the whole team out of it.
Yeah, that's something else to keep our eyes on. But of course, with the mini stun talent later on as well, that adds a nice little wrinkle to the Ags. And of course, a couple Roshans have been taken. Talk about refresh order on that. We got some real shenanigans going.
But here's the thing though, like he's committing a lot. Not only is he committing the 4,200 gold for the Aghanim Scepter, he's committing an inventory slot and also the talent. He has to take the level 20 talent of the plus 100 Lucent Beam damage as well as the Eclipse mini stun. Instead, I think the plus 10 stats would have gone very nicely for this illusion gameplay that they've been going for with the Mposhka disruption. So it's sweet, it's nice, but the opportunity cost of what he's doing right now is also incredibly high.
All right, well, here we go. 34 minutes in, 2,000 net worth lead for Empire, but it definitely feels like the next Roche is going to be a battleground, point of contention between these two teams. And a BKB completed for Mirana as well. I mean, I guess the other thing that you can notice here as OpTic start to push towards this tower is how do you defend against just wards and exorcism? It's tough.
Normally, you need to fight them before they even walk up to your high ground and drop the wards and exorcism. And generally, I think Team Empire is the team that prefers taking fights in the enemy jungle anyways, or rather just in the jungle because of Eclipse. But as we've seen in 2 games so far right now, I think one of the critical weakness of Team Empire as a lineup is that they're coming to defend their Raxes way too late. Remember in last game, they just gave away a free bottom Rax. So I think Team Empire needs to have smokes on their support at the ready and challenge the roster before he could even come up to your high ground and drop the wards.
Well, Satanic gets picked up for the gyrocopter here. Aegis, or rather Roshan, is going to respawn very, very shortly. As the wraparound comes, Empire, Moonlight Shadow, and Smoke. So they should have a little bit of an advantage here also. It's going to be OpTic moving in. They're smoked in the mid lane. They do reveal now with the gyrocopter. The walk forward.
Silent has Axe, by the way. This is going to be huge.
Oh my god, they're in the river. This is the moment right here. They're going to walk into trouble. Oh, God. They're walking forward. There is a sentry ward down as well. We'll see if they spot this. And now, seeing that Silent is up there, they also spot the Ags. Yeah, that's his OpTic dodging a bullet.
Well, now both teams in a relatively awkward spot. But here's the thing: Empire has lost mid-rack, so they're the one that needs to kind of react.
Again, fighting. Right now, OpTic need to fight around creeps because that Ags from Luna can be devastating. Otherwise,
They ping out Silent.
walking forward, trying to find them. They have the homing missile down as well. The rest of Empire is going to back out and make sure they group up with their carry. But
Roshan's they dropped the Master Reward. They will take this Roshan very quickly.
They're moving in for it right now. Arrow connects. It's on to CC&C.
They could throw that ult in there.
Yeah, this is really scary. They need to walk forward right away. They're going forward, able to spot it out. Roche very, very low. Silence is there, onto one. They're able to turn it back around. They get the pushback as well with the cogs. That is going to be the Aegis picked up now as well. GhostTic jumps forward. BKB popped as well. Do they have enough damage? They're waiting for those BKBs to wear off before Silent drops the ultimate. Can they do enough damage? It's dropping out all
Snowball!
The turnaround isn't going to be enough. It's still a lot of damage, but not really looking like it's quite enough. Pycat dropping low. He's still living through it with a Satanic, though. The only hero to die so far has been the Earth Spirit, and Silent's just forced to run away. That was underwhelming as all hell.
GhostTic on the left side finds Zai, but Zai is actually very tanky at this point. That's gotta be the Clockwork Hook.
Able to find him, the pushback, the shackles, everything on top of it. They take him down.
He has Clockwork Hook again in 3 seconds, and you know Zai's looking for it.
Oh, Zai wants it. He wants to go for it. Does he hit it? He wants to go for a rocket flare first to spot out, or at least just have it as an option. And, well, now Aegis again on Pycat. How do you kill this guy off twice? Exorcism, they find him in the back line. Again caught, again pushback. Zai doing it big here on the main stage.
And now with the Exorcism, they will take both melee and range very quickly. Buybacks are coming out, but I don't think it will matter. They'll move down mid, take the melee as well. Without Luna, without Mirana, there's just no way they could actually hold OpTic back.
Yeah, this is looking to be mega creeps yet again. And, well, the jump forward from GhostTic, he pops his ultimate, can get a lift up here if he wants to, but the turnaround again, Zai is there, able to catch onto two. They have the Earth Spirit ultimate out as well, but it's not doing nearly enough damage. Everybody is surviving through this one. In fact, they might even just kill off GhostTic again through his ultimate. Nothing at all working to their favor. Another catch from Zai. He does it again. 4 dead and GG called.
Team OpTic bringing it back. You could make the argument that Team OpTic has already won 3 games. I mean, game 1 was, they were leading for such a long time. They couldn't close it out, but game 2 and 3, they're just really flexing their muscle. And throughout the series, it just seems like Team OpTic is just a stronger team. Team Empire needs to really dig deep in and find something for game 4.
Yeah, absolutely.